Hot headlines. Edmonton Oilers eliminate Vancouver, or Vancouver eliminated themselves in the Western Conference semifinals. And then Edmonton goes into Dallas and they beat the Stars on home ice in game one. It was up and down, back and forth. They checked the daylights out of each other, and Connor McDavid scored in the second overtime. Here's the most amazing statistic. In hockey, scoring in the playoffs is really bloody hard. Edmonton, 15 for 30 on power plays.
Wow.
Nobody clips at 50%. 15 for 30 on power plays in the postseason. Edmonton on penalty kills, 38 penalty kills. They killed off 35 of the power plays.
Wow.
That's absolutely amazing. 9% conversion rate for the other guy with the man advantage. Edmonton is just playing really well. Now, that being said, Oilers got firepower. Dallas has got depth and firepower. This is probably going to be a 7-game series, but the Oil won the first game in Dallas. The most surprising thing is what happened at Madison Square Garden. The New York Rangers, with a ton of firepower and a really good goaltender in Igor Shesterkin, get beat on home ice. Florida Panthers came in and smothered them. Florida plays all 290 feet of the rink defensively. The Rangers totally disappeared. The Rangers had one of the best home records in hockey, went 17 minutes at home without a shot.
Oh, without a shot?
Without a shot. And by the way, that was Ranger fan, like had tape on his mouth. I mean, there was no energy in the building. Florida just suffocated them. Second game of that series tonight. Toronto Maple Leafs, richest team in the NHL, biggest failure of the NHL, have won one playoff series in 20 years, fired Sheldon Keefe. A bit of a surprise hire. They hired Craig Berube. He had led St. Louis to a NHL Stanley Cup a group of years ago, but got fired. Fired before that in Philadelphia. It was just a really strange hire when they had other proven guys like Todd McClellan available and did not go in that direction, did not go in the direction of Joel Kenville, who's kind of being blackballed out of the NHL right now for his time with the Chicago Blackhawks, I think really unfairly. Jersey Devils. Now, this is a major rebuild. They hired the Maple Leafs coach. Sheldon Keefe had 210 wins, I think it was, and he got hired immediately to take over New Jersey. And in LA, the Kings just decided to stay with the interim coach, and they gave him a 3-year extension, Jim Hillier. They've got a lot of high payroll guys. They played one of the best defenses in the league. Got to the playoffs, but ran head-on into the roadblock that is Edmonton. Kings have decided to stay with Jim Hillier. What the Kings really need to decide is how they're going to open up cap space, and they need to go get an established NHL goaltender. This rent-a-vet thing they've tried last couple of years has been okay during the season, but it's not made a difference in postseason. So, John, we got red-hot Edmonton. New York is just stunned. I can't wait to see how they're going to counteract everything that Florida does when they smother you. And we got the other news and notes from other teams in the NHL.
Yeah, this is all great stuff. I mean, the fans in Boston and New York have got to just be dying right now that a team in South Florida is knocking off these storied NHL franchises.
And doing it in their rink. I mean, they beat the Bruins a couple times in Boston.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable. But the other thing that I think about, I see those logos up there. I see the Devils. I always think of the Seinfeld episode where Putty, remember Putty?
Yep.
And he was like, Devils, that whole episode was fantastic. I mean, of all these teams, I mean, what team in the NHL is the most, besides the Maple Leafs, is the most championship starved?
Les Bleu Blanc Rouge, the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, I don't know how many Stanley Cups they've won, but it's a ton. During the Sam Pollock era, when I was a kid growing up, and then when I got hooked on hockey, they owned, that was the original 6, they owned the NHL. So they are the marquee. Philadelphia's obviously had some good runs, but the Canadiens, and way back in the day, the Maple Leafs. But the Maple Leafs have not won a cup since 1967. Go figure that one out.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
The Islanders in the mid-70s and the 80s were phenomenal. With Dennis Potvin and Clark Gillies and Brian Trottier. They were a great franchise. Jersey has had some good runs, but Montreal and Toronto, I think, probably have won more cups. Edmonton during the Gretzky era obviously was a phenomenal franchise too. Okay, we go from that